Bon, j'allais faire cette vidéo en français, mais après y avoir réfléchi, je veux que vous me compreniez. Et du coup, je le fais en anglais. Hey guys, how's it going? It's René and welcome to my channel. Wait, hold on, stop. Something is off. Squirrel, happiness. Squirrel, happiness. Okay, sounds good. Hey guys, how's it going? It's René. If you're new here, then welcome to my channel and make sure you hit that subscribe button. Today I'll be talking about my experience learning French and sharing some tips and resources so you can learn it too. Grab a notebook and hit that like button if you're ready to do this. Chris, this one's for you. Quick little backstory just so I won't bore you to death. I started learning French when I was in middle school. I was about 10 or 11. The 6th grade I was placed into this program called The Wheel. So basically I was introduced to different subjects after every quarter. I took French, home ec, art, and I forgot what the other one was. But I knew I wanted to take French once I started 7th grade. That same year, my family and I went to Europe. It was my first time there. Long story short, I absolutely loved every minute of it. I was exposed to so many different cultures and languages. That trip definitely left a mark on me. And I think that's one of the reasons why I still study languages till this day. When I started 7th grade, my nerdy ass kept all the French flashcards I had made the previous year, and the teacher obviously noticed and I became Rishushu, the teacher's pet. I took it in 8th grade. I took it all throughout high school. The summer before starting my senior year of high school, I was granted a scholarship to study at Lac du Bois, which is a French camp and it's part of the Concordia language villages. This camp is in the middle of nowhere. It's in Minnesota. You're in the middle of nowhere in a forest surrounded by animals, trees, and lakes. I won't delve too much into this because then this video will last like 5 hours, but I will say that I absolutely loved it. Then my senior year of high school, I took AP French with one of my favorite French teachers ever. Thanks to her, I passed the AP French test. After that, I started college at a community college. I didn't take any French classes in my freshman year, but I did do a study abroad for a month with a company called the F. I absolutely love that too. I took French my sophomore year, and then I transferred to the Monterey Institute after completing all my Gen Ed. Everyone had to have previous knowledge of whatever language you had studied, right? Because at this school, all the classes were built around a certain subject. For example, I took sustainability and development in French, business in French, or relations between the Hutus and the Tutsis in French. These classes were definitely a step above what I was used to, and I think they helped tremendously. Nowadays, I tend to read books in French, watch movies in French, listen to the news in French, and even podcasts, just so I won't get crusty, dusty, musty, nor rusty. You know, you just never stop learning, not even your native language. French is a Romance language that derives from Vulgar Latin. You probably already know its siblings like Spanish, Portuguese, Italian, and Romanian, just to name the popular ones. The FSI is the Foreign Service Institute, and they teach foreign languages to US diplomats. According to the FSI, French is a level 1 language, so this means that native English speakers won't have such a difficult time learning it. And obviously, if you already speak another Romance language, then it will be a lot less challenging. These stats are obviously not 100% accurate. Everyone has a different learning method. If you already know 100 other languages, or like I said, speak another Romance language, it might take a lot less time for you to reach that proficient level they talk about. I'm just throwing this out there so you can get an idea of how long it might take you, because it definitely does not happen overnight. I've definitely had time on my side because I started at such a young age, but don't let that deter you from starting out on your language learning journey. It's really different to study languages as a kid versus when you're an adult. As a kid, you can't fully grasp grammar concepts. As an adult, you can. When you're a kid and you're in school, you tend to progress as a collective, as a group. When you're an adult, you could go at a much faster pace. When you're a kid, the reason why you're studying a language is not that strong. It might just be because it's a requirement for a graduation. And when you're an adult, you have a set goal in mind that's more powerful. My first tip would be to really know why you want to study a certain language, in this case French. Think about something personal and not superficial, like because it's sexy or because you'll sound cool if you speak it. Shoot, why you think I learned it? Just kidding. That's just a plus that comes with learning languages. You know, go beyond that. Is it because you're planning a trip to a French-speaking country and you want to connect with locals on a deeper level? Do you want to reconnect with your grandma who only speaks French? Are you trying to get that French passport? Does your significant other speak French? Really think about something that compels you to study. Excuse that annoying ass alarm. It's been going off the entire week. Something that can help is to write it down on a post-it maybe and just have it in your language learning, your study area, like stick it on your computer, on your desk, just so it serves as a constant reminder so that it motivates you. My second tip of advice would be to embed French into your daily life, into all your daily rituals. Do as any French person would naturally do. When you go and look something up on Google, look it up in French. If you started to transition into veganism during quarantine, look up all your research in French. If you love to fly drones, then find French YouTubers that talk about drones on their channels. If you like to work out, then find music, find playlists and listen to them while you train. If you don't like to work out but still like to listen to music when you shower, for example, then play French music on your phone. Rewatch all your favorite movies, but now watch them in French. You already know the story, so you won't have such a difficult time following along, and this time around you'll be able to focus on how French is being used. Immersion can be a little bit tricky. So for example, if you do travel abroad, what happens? You get homesick. I'm not saying it happens to everyone. We'll look for things that are familiar to you. We're creatures of habit, and we will naturally gravitate to things that make us feel happy, that make us feel at peace. You'll start looking for people that speak English, for example, your native language, and put French on the back burner. You go back home and your French is still shit. What I'm trying to get at is that you don't necessarily have to be in a French-speaking country in order to see progress. It's not the only way. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. All you have to do is tweak little things like I mentioned before, so you can be in constant contact with French, with your target language. You might be saying, well, Renee, there's no one around me who speaks French. Get on Instagram, you most likely have it. Find people who speak French and befriend them. Nowadays, virtually making friends online and hoeing around is nothing new. I'm sure you've done it. There are 2 apps out there created just for language exchange called Hello Talk and Tandem. These apps obviously make it a little less sketchy and a lot safer for you to have a language exchange. On this app you can find native French speakers and also people who aren't natives necessarily but are learning French. The cool thing about this app is that it's similar to Facebook in a way, and when you're looking for a potential buddy, you can creep on another user's profile, get to know them by what they post before you muster up the courage to make that initial contact. This definitely helps with having a topic of conversation. There is also a learning tab where they have simple lessons in French. One of the coolest features on this app is that you get to share moments on your profile. Moments are pretty much pictures you can upload with captions, short stories or paragraphs you write, and even audio clips. And with all of this, other users can go on your profile and correct any mistakes you've made. You can also correct them, but before you go out there like a grammar Nazi and correct everyone, I would first ask if they want my feedback and, just so you won't come off as rude. When you do start building up your chats with other users, you can save words you don't know and translate complete messages that you're having a difficult time understanding in your chats section. Don't be afraid and don't worry about making mistakes. You won't learn anything if you don't fail. As cliche as that sounds, it's true. Get over yourself and stop being a perfectionist. Learning a language is supposed to be fun, so enjoy yourself and don't let that little head of yours stand in the way. Also, don't get your panties all up in a bunch if and when someone does correct you. Let them do it. You'll learn and you'll thank them later. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but I don't care, I'm gonna say it again. Download Duolingo or Flash Academy. These 2 apps are really fun. The creators know how to make language learning into a game. So open it, 10 to 20 minutes a day, or even right before you go to bed. I will recommend that you use a textbook as your main source, these 2 apps as supplemental material. Set those boundaries and let your side hoes know where they stand. My next tip would be to imitate people who speak French. French pronunciation is a little on the harder side, so I would recommend that you turn on the news or watch a movie and do this in the privacy of your own home so you don't offend anyone and possibly get clocked. So go all out, and then the next time you are conversing with someone in French, it will be a lot easier to tone it down and spit out your words, right? It's been such a long time, so I don't remember which elementary textbooks I used when I started learning French. Before I go into the textbooks, I just want to say that I found them on a website called VK. It's a community of language learners that share free resources. So please don't try to make money and resell any of this material. You know, just be happy that you have access to all of this study material. So the book is called Contact. I've never used it, like I said. However, I did browse through it and it looks very familiar. It looks like all the other textbooks I used when I started learning French. The authors have also published other college level and high school level textbooks, so I would say that this is a reliable resource. I used this textbook when I hit the intermediate level. It's not on VK, but you could purchase it on Amazon. There are other free intermediate level textbooks on VK like Alter Ego and Sur le Vif. However, like I said, I haven't used any of these, but after browsing through them, I feel like they're really solid resources. So I would check them out and give them a shot. If you're looking for supplemental books and want to practice more, I would recommend checking out the Practice Makes Perfect series in French. Now there's a saxophone player out there. It's fine. That's not as annoying as an alarm going off. I've used this series with other languages and I liked it a lot. I was very pleased. I would also recommend checking out these two books by Larousse. They are completely in French, but like I said before, surrounding yourself in French everything is the way to go. If you have any doubts on whether a word is masculine or feminine or a certain grammar topic, you can quickly look it up in any of these two books. I like them because their explanations are bite-sized and to the point. If you are just starting out, I would recommend you stick to translations. You can use word reference or the bilingual Larousse dictionary. Once you reach a level where you feel comfortable enough in French, I would swap out translations and use the monolingual Larousse dictionary to look up definitions in French. This is one of the small changes I was talking about that you can do, which will over time help you to rely less, oh look, someone wants attention, to rely less on your native language. Reading does wonders when it comes to language learning and just in general. Qu'est-ce qui se passe, maman? Qu'est-ce que tu veux? For beginners, I would recommend you stick to children's books. You can find tons of books on VK. I've linked a lot of them down below, so feel free to look through it and see if you find anything that interests you. Let me show you how you can download one. This is the VK website I was talking about, and this is one of the links that you can find in the description box. So if you want one of these books, just go right underneath it to where it says PDF. So let's click on this one. As you can see, it is all here. So yeah, now it's done loading. And you don't necessarily have to download it if you don't want to. I mean, the link will be there. And yeah, and if you do want to download it, then you can just hit the download document and it should save to your computer. This is another website where you can find more children's books. It's decent. I mean, it's not the best, but you get what you pay for. For example, so let's click on, say you're on this page. So you see it's in English and you have all these languages down here. You click on French and you have the translation. So I think this is pretty neat. This is another website I want to share with you. Here you can find free children's audiobooks. The only thing is that this is a Canadian website, so most of their content is in Québécois. So if you don't want the Québécois accent rubbing off on you, then maybe this isn't the best site when you're starting out.
Petite souris a raison. Pourtant, l'hiver ne tardera pas à arriver.
Allez, nous avons beaucoup à faire aujourd'hui, petite souris. Tout le monde doit se préparer.
Tout le monde!
It's all audio, so I don't think there are any transcriptions available, but I mean, it's a good way to practice listening to French. This is the last website I want to show you where you can find children's books. As you can see, you can find them in other languages as well, not just French. And right away, if you want the audio, you have to become a member, so you have to pay. However, you still have access to the text and you can translate it into English. So I think it's pretty neat. There are other fairy tales as well. This is Cinderella. So let me see. Yeah, so here you see there are 10 different fairy tales. Everyone at some point when they're studying French will encounter Le Petit Prince or Le Petit Nicolas. It's just part of the experience of learning French. It's almost like a rite of passage for French learners. I would recommend these two to intermediate level learners. You could pretty much find Le Petit Prince anywhere online. You can even find the audiobook on YouTube for free. Le Petit Nicolas, for example, the second time I went to France, I bought this. You know, because by then I was able to actually enjoy what I was reading, and I became a big fan, so that's why I had to know everything. I had to read all the stories. I've linked the book down below. You could buy it on Amazon, and I've also linked a couple stories as well, so you don't necessarily have to buy the book. I would also recommend you check out any of these authors if you are at the intermediate level. If you are at the advanced level, well, you can pretty much read anything. And you can challenge yourself by reading any of the classics like Voltaire or Dumas, Molière, any of them. I pretty much shared free resources, but if you do want to pay, I'd recommend checking out Audible by Amazon or Script. You can find tons of books in French and even audiobooks. There is a membership obviously, but as long as you pay the membership every month, you have access to everything. If you do become a Script member like I have, you have access to Mubi, which is a movie streaming platform. There are tons of French movies and foreign films in general. Yeah, so if you're a fan of everything foreign like I am, I would say to check it out. Script does offer a trial month, and so does Mubi. I believe you have a week for free. Before moving on, I would like to say that when you start reading books, you will encounter le passé simple. No one uses this anymore in spoken French unless they want to sound highfalutin, haughty, or sagacious, like I just did by using those words. Pretty much if you want to sound like a fancy pants. Nowadays, a lot of authors don't use le passé simple anymore, and they're using le passé composé or l'imparfait, for example. I just want to warn you, just in case you do run into it and are like, what the hell, what is it? Like, I have not learned anything, you know? So yeah, just look out for it. The next tool I want to share with you, I've already mentioned in my How to Learn German video. So if you're interested in learning German, definitely check it out. And since I'm already on the topic, if you want to learn Japanese, then check out the Japanese video as well. Learning languages with Netflix is an extension you could download for free, and it should automatically pop up when you open Netflix. I really like this tool because it not only allows you to set simultaneous subtitles like French and English on the bottom, but it also serves as a dictionary. So if you're watching on your computer and if you don't know the meaning of a word, you can hover your mouse over the word and the translation will show up. If you click on the word, a small tab will open up with the definition and example sentences. Isn't it so cool? If you're up for it, you can even download the entire transcription of the episode and use it as a reading exercise. If you like listening to podcasts, I would recommend Coffee Break French for beginners. The audio part is completely free. If you want the lessons, transcripts, and their other goodies, you have to pay. If you are at the intermediate level, I would recommend checking out Inner French. The creator covers diverse topics, so I'm sure you'll find something of interest. I would also recommend checking out talk shows like Ça commence aujourd'hui, C'est à vous, and Quotidien. They're just fun to watch and interesting. There is a show for beginners called Extra. It's really silly and funny, but I think it's really good practice. It's fun to watch. You could also learn by reading news articles. Here is the France 24 website. So this article is in English. And the cool thing about France 24 is that you can find the exact same article in 4 different languages. So we'll click French. And there it is. So you can have both of them open and check the English article just in case you get stuck. Here is another website you can use. This one is aimed more towards people at the intermediate level. The cool thing about this one is that you can listen to the audio and read the transcript simultaneously.
Avant de vous donner la parole, je vous propose un détour par Port-au-Prince. Haïti, le seul pays francophone du continent américain. Le français n'y est pas la seule langue officielle. Le créole domine nettement dans les conversations quotidiennes et son usage se diffuse désormais.
It's really cool. This video is more for people who want to learn on their own. However, if you want the guidance of a teacher, I would recommend checking out Lingoda and Italki. Bon, sans rien d'autre que partager avec vous sur ce sujet, je vous laisse partir. Évidemment, j'espère que cette vidéo vous sera utile. Si vous avez des questions, écrivez-les dans les commentaires. Si vous avez bien aimé cette vidéo, s'il vous plaît, laissez un petit pouce bleu pour me le faire savoir. Et n'oubliez pas que vous pouvez même vous abonner à cette chaîne pour être notifié des nouvelles sorties. Je vous remercie encore et je vous souhaite bon courage. À très bientôt.
Enchanté.